Brika Lee during a confrontation with her live-in boyfriend's ex-girlfriend. District Judge Brad Myers sentenced Williams to 20 years in prison in an emotional hearing inside the 19th Judicial District Courthouse. 27-year-old Williams was inconsolable as Myers imposed the sentence. Her children watched as bailiffs escorted their wailing mother out of the courtroom in handcuffs afterwards. The May 13, 2023 shooting happened outside a central apartment in the 14,700 block of Forest Grove Avenue, where Williams lived with 37-year-old Patrick Johnson. She was feuding with Johnson's ex-lover, Gentria Renee Haley. Prosecutors said Haley began harassing Williams when she discovered Johnson was dating her, and Williams told officers the woman banged on their front door and barged into the couple's residence on multiple occasions. The evening of the shooting, Haley found the couple to a local convenience store. Followed the couple to a local convenience store, then drove to their apartment with Lee and two other girls in her SUV, according to police. She pulled up across the street from the complex and sent Lee and one of the other teenage girls to knock on the front door while she honked her horn. Williams told detectives she was frustrated with Haley's harassment and went outside. When she noticed two unknown people approaching the house, she pulled a gun out of her fanny pack and fired a single shot at Haley's SUV. The bullet struck Lee in the head as she retreated down the driveway. Prosecutors agreed Williams had no deliberate intent to kill the child, but Assistant District Attorney Melanie Fields said despite her continued harassment, Haley was sitting inside her vehicle at the time and posed no imminent danger. The judge agreed and said he wasn't buying arguments from Williams' defense attorney Robert Tucker Jr. that the woman was in enough peril to justify shooting at a car full of people. Williams was indicted on a charge of second-degree murder and faced a mandatory life sentence. She pled guilty to the lesser charge of manslaughter on July the 17th. During that same hearing, Myers gave Haley a year of probation after she copped to a charge of stalking and contributing to the delinquency of juveniles as part of the plea deal with state prosecutors. A group of Pineville residents gathered outside the Pineville City Hall on Wednesday morning for a peaceful protest expressing their concern over voter suppression. The demonstration comes after Pineville Mayor Rich Dupree announced he was stepping down on the heels of an extramarital affair with a city employee. Instead of appointing a new mayor, the group feels there should be an election for the citizens of Pineville to elect the leader of their choice. Eddie Lashney said the people have the right to choose their leadership. He says that's simple. All we want is the right to choose. That's it. Samantha Stanley said, we just want our election to be free. We want our voices as Pineville constituents to be heard, and the actions of the mayor have been unethical and deplorable. She went on to say, if it were any other office, this man would have been fired. The Republican Party of Rapides Parish also sent a letter to Mayor Rich Dupree and the Pineville City Council dated October 13th urging Dupree to resign by October the 17th in order for citizens to elect the next mayor for the city in a special election. And, of course, today is October the 17th, and we'll see if anything comes as a result of the protests. When Donaldsonville residents head to the polls beginning next week, they will face a rematch in the mayor's race between a five-term incumbent and a community advocate recently arrested on a felony count. 68-year-old Glenn Price was arrested last week by the Ascension Parish Sheriff's Office for allegedly purchasing stolen copper wire and selling it for more than $25,000. Police also said he sold the wire without the required license and documentation, according to the SO from the department, and the arrest follows a 2022 no contest plea by Price to a misdemeanor theft for which he owed more than $53,000 in restitution last month. Price, who was released on a $10,000 bail Tuesday, did not respond to a request for comment via email Wednesday, and his phone was disconnected. But in a conversation before his arrest last week, he portrayed the election as a referendum on Mayor Leroy Sullivan's leadership and pointed to his own involvement in community initiatives. 67-year-old Sullivan stood by his record, highlighting state and federal grants that have flowed into the city and partnerships involving job training and education. In a post on social media, Taboo Harley here in Alexandria announced that it's closing its doors. The dealership was located on North Mall Drive and offered new and pre-owned Harley-Davidson motorcycles as well as parts and vehicle servicing. The store released a statement which said, in part, "We're saddened to say to share the news that Taboo Harley-Davidson has officially closed its doors. We want to thank all of our loyal customers and the incredible community that supported us over the years. Reportedly, they intend to contact customers with motorcycles either currently in service or under a service contract. And finally, this week, Louisiana will witness a bigger and brighter moon. October's full moon, also referred to as the Hunter's Moon, will coincide with the third supermoon of the year. A supermoon occurs only when the moon is closest distance from the Earth. This can make the moon look up to 14% bigger and 30% brighter compared to the supermoon in August. This supermoon is the most rare, but it will be the brightest. I'm Tony Brown. That's your statewide news you can use on this Thursday, October the 17th. Eyes Open Radio and 1110 AM KTTP. Have a safe and a blessed day.
Tired of walking with constant pain because of feet problems? Look no further than my personal podiatrist, Dr. Ogali Leye, with Natchitoches Foot and Ankle Specialists. They're located at 415 Beansville Street, right behind the Natchitoches Hospital. We all know that every step we take depends on the condition of our feet. Dr. Ogali Leye is a former college athlete, also has vast experience in sports medicine. Dr. Leye treats a wide range of foot and ankle problems like diabetic foot care, bunions, chronic sores, problems, infections, ingrown toenails, planters, warts, wound care, and more. Professionals at Foot and Ankle Specialists in Natchitoches can help you get back on the good foot. Call today at 318-357-3668. That's 318-357-3668. So whether you need foot or ankle surgery because of a sports injury, or just need constant foot care because of diabetes, put your best foot forward and call Dr. Ogali Leye with Natchitoches Foot and Ankle Specialist today at 318-357-3668. Dr. Ogali Leye with Foot and Ankle Specialist in Natchitoches, 415 Beansville Street, the only podiatrist in Cenla that is one step ahead of everyone else.
Rapides Primary Healthcare Centers now has convenient locations to better serve residents of Central Louisiana. Now you can get affordable medical, dental, and mental health care at 1217 Willow Glen River Road and 605 Brown Bend Road in Alexandria and 1007 Shirley Road in Bunkie. If you need quality health care for your baby from prenatal, during pregnancy, and up until adulthood, then look no further than Rapides Primary Healthcare Centers. Rapides Primary Healthcare Centers continues to be the affordable, timely answer to all your family's healthcare needs. All services are available to anyone regardless of their ability to pay. You or your family will never be turned away. Rapides Primary is a certified KidMed site with a sliding fee scale. Payment is based on income and size of family. Medicaid, Medicare, and most commercial insurance is accepted for all medical services. For appointments and information on all medical services, call 318-487-4400. That's 318-487-4400. Rapides Primary Healthcare Center, now with 3 locations to better serve Central Louisiana. A new beginning to quality health care.
Hello, you're listening to Mom and Grandpa on Eyes Open with Tony Brown.
It's time for the Scripture of the Day. And now, the beautiful Bianca Brown.
Hi, this is Bianca Brown with your Scripture of the Day. Today's Scripture comes from the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 2, verse 2. No one is holy like the Lord, for there is none besides you, nor is there any rock like our God. Today's Scripture is being brought to you by the Monroe Street Church of Christ in Alexandria, Louisiana. If you would like to learn more about how God can be a rock in your life, you can do so by contacting the church. Give the Monroe Street Church of Christ a call at 318-448-2494 and ask to speak with Brother Jesse Allen. Or as always, just write the Monroe Street Church of Christ at 2008 Monroe Street, Alexandria, Louisiana, 71301. As we always say, we will lift you and your family up in the precious name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
It's time for the Daily Bread with Tony Brown.
The eye that never sleeps. Read Psalms 121. In my distress I cried to the Lord, and he heard me. Psalms 120:1. Detective Alan Pinkerton became famous in the mid-1800s by solving a series of train robberies and foiling a plot to assassinate Abraham Lincoln as he traveled to his first inauguration. As one of the first agencies of its kind in the U.S., the Pinkerton National Detective Agency gained even more prominence because of its logo of a wide-open eye with the caption, "We never sleep." There is no better feeling than knowing you are protected and secure. You feel peaceful when the doors are locked and all is quiet as you drift off to sleep at night. You feel safe. But many lie awake in their beds with fearful thoughts of the present or dread of the future. Some are afraid of the commotion outside of a spouse who has been violent. Some cannot rest because of a worry over a rebellious child. Others are anxiously listening to make sure a seriously ill child is still breathing. These are the times when our loving God encourages us to cry out to him, to the one who will neither slumber nor sleep. Psalms 121:4. Psalms 34:10 reminds us that the eyes of the Lord are on the righteous, and his ears are open to their cry. That means he hears their prayers. Pinkerton may have been the original private eye, but the one who really has the eye that never sleeps is listening to the cries of the righteous. Psalms 34:17. Before you sleep, just gently lay every trouble thought away. Drop your burden and your care in the quiet arms of prayer. We can sleep in peace when we remember that God is always awake. I'm Tony Brown, and that's today's Daily Bread.
Listen live every weekday morning at 6 a.m. for Eyes Open with Tony Brown radio show. The KTTP app allows you to listen to the best of old school R&B and today's hits 24/7, all day, every day. With the KTTP app available now in the App Store or Google Play. Eyes Open with Tony Brown and a hot cup of coffee. An informative and positive way to start your day.
All right, we count down the days, of course, early voting in the state of Louisiana for this huge election. November 5th election gets underway this weekend. I am glad to have in the studio with us a guy who's just been. He can't hear. Okay, I'll get that fixed for you, brother. Let me make sure I circulate here. Got that? Is that you? I'll fix that. Once you do this, you swap up with me. Hand me those. All right, we got candidate Peter Williams in the studio with us this morning. Welcome back, my friend. How you doing?
I'm excited. Just like I told you earlier, it's fourth quarter now, big.
It's fourth quarter.
Oh yeah, it's game time and early voting starting Friday. I'm excited about it.
Okay, so man, I've been hearing, and been seeing you. I mean, this is all over the place, Peter.
After B, 6th district, it covers 200 miles.
That's a big district.
Yeah, and I'm excited. I've been meeting people, and what's so good, I've been catching them at their forums, at their community meetings, and the mindset of wanting change but the problems are still the same.
Yeah.
In this, whether it's a rural community, whether it's a urban community, black communities have the same problems. Housing,
It's the
jobs.
real white folks.
Yeah.
But, and that's the one thing we'll say about Louisiana, what people don't realize. You know, the more we sit down and really at the table and talk with one another, we'll realize that we got a lot in common.
Sharing the same zip code, Pat.
Absolutely. So what are some of the things that concerns that all communities in Louisiana, particularly in the rural areas where you've been really stomping, what are they saying, their priorities? What are they concerned about here in Louisiana?
Well, central Louisiana and the 6 parishes that consist of mostly agriculture, they're concerned about, 1, the farm bill, 2, stabilizing the insurance caps on claims, because, you know, you have these tractors, these farmers have a lot of trucks and cars on the road, so they've been hit by a lot of lawsuits with no caps. When you go further north, you know, you have things like Homeland Security. I mean, I was in Caddo Parish, and Barksdale Air Force Base came up a couple of times because we're in a crisis, and if a war starts, what's going to happen and the impact of Barksdale being right in Shreveport. Because remember when 9/11 came,
Yeah.
President Bush flew to Barksdale.
He did.
Okay? And then when I go down south, closer to Baton Rouge, we still want to finish the Comite River, the Virgin Canal. They're still grappling over the new bridge, where it's going to be, how it's going to be, and how it's going to be funded. So I'm getting a little bit of everything, but the big settlement that I'm finding is the rural communities and a lot of areas, even in the urban communities, certain pockets have been left out of funding and opportunities.
Well, it's funny you bring up Bush after 9/11 flying into Barksdale, because I actually did a live report on a nationally syndicated show. It may have been Al Sharpton, it might have been Ricky Smiley, maybe definitely wasn't Michael Basin, but it was one of those shows that called me up, and I called them. No, it was what's the guy's name? Russ Parr in the morning show.
Okay.
And they were asking the same question. Why did he fly to Louisiana? What the heck is in Barksdale Air Force Base? Well, I did my research because at the time my wife was posted at Barksdale Air Force Base with the 917 Bomber Wing. Barksdale Air Force, which has the Cyber Strategic Command, cybersecurity, but not only that, even better than that, which many people didn't know, it's one of the only handful of bases in the country that can sustain a nuclear attack.
Yes.
So it has a nuclear bomb shelter underground. So that's where they flew him.
why they flew him.
They flew him because it was the closest, particularly in this area, that if there was a nuclear attack on America, that bottom line is, you know, I'm heading to Barksdale.
Come on, man.
I still got my ID card and it's active. So with that said, early voting kicking off, how do you feel about it?
I'm feeling good. Jokingly was saying that we're in full quarter, and anybody who plays sports, watch sports, you may have a team that's already saying that they're going to win and they're going to beat somebody, but until you get on the field, and then the longer you keep the underdog in the game, you know, so I started out the underdog, and now we in the game, and I was talking with my wife, and I was sharing with her, why are you not hearing any polls? Why are you not hearing the Democratic endorsed candidates in any race, especially the 6th congressional race, tooting no trumpet?
Why do you think that is?
Because they're not as comfortable a lead that they thought they had going in. I think at halftime...
So they're doing some canvassing, they're just not making it public.
Yeah. And
because, you know, it's no advantage if I go and call people, and I'm calling 100 people throughout Louisiana in that particular district, and then it comes back that this race is closer than it is. Let's just not put that information out.
It'll be opposite of what they want people to think. And
I think this is a clear runaway. You know, the Cleo Fields is supposed to be the candidate. Matter of fact, I heard from a former state representative up in Caddo Parish just a couple of days ago calling me about this and saying, you know, Cleo's going to win. I said, you know, I'm not certainly sure about that.
Right.
You know, and I think the fact that people haven't seen him, not in. You know, they've maybe seen him around at, you know, certain events, but they haven't seen him in the forum where they can ask a question.
Right. I mean, the people forums, not the candidate
The
forums.
forum.
It's easy for you to show up when you set up a forum or anything, and since it's my interview, I'm not even going to call his name, number. I'll just say the other candidates, because
Okay.
there's 3 of them who haven't been showing up.
Yeah.
So we
Identified.
right. We just have to let the people know that this is not a game. This is not a status quo election. This is for the future of the people in District 6. And I got my game face on. This is 4th quarter. I told you, I played quarterback in high school.
You did?
And we're doing quarterback sneak the rest of the game.
Come on, no Bromowski?
No flea flicker. Now they pulling flea flicker. One guy called me. He said, "Man, did Harris and Walsh endorse the other candidate?" I see a sign. I said, "No." Let me ask you a question since you called me. If you think Harris and Walsh would did an official endorsement for any candidate, wouldn't that be worldwide news? And he said, "Man, you're right. I didn't hear about it. You didn't get a memo." Okay, so
No, I haven't.
so I'm gonna do like so many other people say, that's fake news.
Well, I did hear about some sort of event up in Shreveport that former state representative Barbara Norton was doing, and was putting together what she called, the other candidate plus Harris, some sort of rally, and called me about it. And I just had to, question her and ask, has she endorsed anybody? And she couldn't answer the question.
Yeah, and it's amazing. I like where we are, and I like the vibes that I'm hearing from the people, and I'm old school, and when somebody asks me a question, I try and answer it as candid but as politically correct as possible. So they asked me what I thought about some of the other candidates who've been around so long. I say, well, I take it like going to the airport, and you have a brand new piece of luggage, but you have some dirty clothes inside, and nobody know about it but you. And when you get on the plane, you're holding it because you don't have to share it and show it to nobody. So I said, there's a lot of folks in this election who have a lot of dirty clothes in a brand new suitcase, and the reason why they might not be going to forums is because they don't want nobody to open that suitcase.
Look all shiny and pretty on the outside.
And even
But when you open that zipper, man, it sure stinks.
security
It's a smell.
Security won't even stop. You got to stamp somebody glowing.
Just let them go. We can't stand the smell.
Oh no!
You mean you are hilarious.
Yeah. So and you have to have a
I've seen that nobody was sure for the debate with you.
you have to have a sense of humor in this thing. And I never thought I would have to be fighting the Democratic Party.
That makes sense.
This is the first time I ran in elections. I ran a while,
You have done so much you have done so much work for the Democratic Party.
Right, and other candidates, and even some of the candidates in this race, I've worked with them before. But what I found that I think through my thinking of what I did, they didn't see me coming. And this is like Sidney Poitier, guess who come to dinner? it wasn't expected. You mean to tell me this is who you bringing home? So,
my God.
but I tried to be upfront with folks. I tried to call and kind of tell them about the rural communities and the agriculture conditions of this new district, but I didn't get a call back. And I was put on hold because other candidates were saying they might run. They did, but they were in the room saying privately that they wasn't going to run and this is who we wanted to win, but I didn't get the memo. So
Nobody called you.
Nobody called me. So now game was on when I signed up, and then everybody started calling me saying, "Man, we didn't know you was going to run." Well, y'all had all kind of meetings, but y'all didn't call me to the meeting. So it is what it is. The people are really seeing now that I can be the next congressman.
Absolutely. Before I let you go, what do you want to say out there? We definitely want to give you a ballot number. What do you want to say out there to the constituents here in the 6th Congressional District?
We have 19 days left. I have been to every forum. I have tried to make as many community events to make myself available to the people so they can not only see a sign or a poster, but to see me, talk to me, address some of their concerns. I'm ready to be the voice for the people. My number is 24. What you see is what you get. I'm the real deal. I am not afraid to challenge the powers that be because I've been doing it for 40 years for free, for nothing. I don't have anything to prove. I'm not trying to build my resume. My legacy is already done from a family perspective. My most important goal is to make heaven my home, and now is to be the next congressman and the first black congressman in this newly created district.
Well, we wish you the best. We'll have you back certainly before November the 5th primary election. We wish you well, and keep doing the work. Faith without works
is dead.
Amen to that, brother. That, of course, is Peter Williams, number 24 on your ballot, asking for your vote for the newly created 6th Congressional District. We're going to have more eyes open when we come back, folks. Don't go away.
Parish. Professionally, I'm an agriculturalist, a tree farmer, and a community advocate. And when I came from the podium, a gentleman gave me the label as the irrelevant candidate. For the fact checkers in here this morning, I stand with good company, because the Bible is full of irrelevant folks. Starting with Noah, he was irrelevant until he built the ark. David was irrelevant until he slayed Goliath. Joseph, with the coat of many colors, was irrelevant until he went to Egypt and became the commissioner of agriculture for Pharaoh to oversee the grain and the corn during the famine. And for the ladies in the room, Esther was irrelevant until she became queen for a special moment in time. To the voters of District 6, with your vote and my voice, together, I'll be willing to go to Washington. I approve this message. God bless Louisiana, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Rapides Primary Healthcare Centers now has convenient locations to better serve residents of Central Louisiana. Now you can get affordable medical, dental, and mental health care at 1217 Willow Glen River Road and 605 Brown Bend Road in Alexandria and 1007 Shirley Road in Bunkie. If you need quality health care for your baby from prenatal, during pregnancy, and up until adulthood, then look no further than Rapides Primary Healthcare Centers. Rapides Primary Healthcare Centers continues to be the affordable, timely answer to all your family's healthcare needs. All services are available to anyone regardless of their ability to pay. You or your family will never be turned away. Rapides Primary is a certified KidMed site with a sliding fee scale. Payment is based on income and size of family. Medicaid, Medicare, and most commercial insurance is accepted for all medical services. For appointments and information on all medical services, call 318-487-4400. That's 318-487-4400. Rapides Primary Healthcare Center, now with 3 locations to better serve Central Louisiana. A new beginning to quality health care.
Did you know at Alexandria International Airport, you can go from roadway to runway in minutes? From Coliseum Boulevard to the Coliseum of Rome. From the recreation area at Indian Creek to the beaches of Hawaii. From the Riverfront Amphitheater to the Hollywood Bowl in Los Angeles. AEX, your destination to the world starts here. To book a flight or for more information, visit flyaex.org.
Hello, this is Malcolm Larverdane, number 39 on your ballot for Alexandria City Council, District 1. The time is now to get District 1 and the city of Alexandria unified and on a path that leads to a good quality of life for all of its residents. I'm asking you to work with me to turn our neighborhoods around and create good affordable housing, safe neighborhoods, and a positive outlook for our youth and the future. I'm asking for your support and vote to serve as your next city councilman for District 1. We must act now. Early voting for the November 5th election begins this Friday, October 18th, and ends on Tuesday, October 29th. Let's send a clear message. We expect better, and together we will do better. I'm Malcolm Larverdane, number 39 on your ballot for Alexandria City Council, District 1.
Listen live every weekday morning at 6 a.m. for Eyes Open with Tony Brown Radio Show. The KTTP app allows you to listen to the best of old school R&B and today's hits 24/7, all day, every day. With the KTTP app available now in the App Store or Google Play. You're listening to Eyes Open with Tony Brown. Serious talk for serious people.
Coach Charles Smith, fresh from getting his orange jacket for the highest honor in basketball in the world, the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. Coach, that jacket is just a beast. I saw the inner lining with the pictures and you and Jordan. My wife said, why you got his jacket open? And I zoomed in on the picture. I said, that's why. Customized, man. That's and not too many people have those jackets, Coach.
That's correct.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Tony.
Coach, and your message. Does everybody help you with that? Because I'm like, God dog, Coach, you didn't have a speech writer. But I mean, how you went, where you came from, you gave credit to your parents.
Right.
You mentioned Taylor Hill, you mentioned Peabody, Young Spry, get that a shot. I listened to every word in Timmy, and it was one of the most perfect messages and speeches that I've ever heard, certainly at a national event of that magnitude. And I was just extremely proud of you, not only is Central Louisiana proud of you, Peabody, but the entire state of Louisiana. I was getting calls from people all over Texas, a cousin out of California, my frat brother out of Florida. Oh, I was doing some work behind the scenes for you, Coach, and I was just telling people, I gotta watch this. I gotta listen. What? This dude's out of Alexandria. I said, yep. Believe it or not, there's something good that could come out of Alexandria.
That's right.
So a powerful message, Coach, just great. And I saw on your face, and I saw the videos and the promotional things, and it was just incredible. I felt like it kind of gave me chills when you were speaking, man. It was just getting a standing ovation, having Joe Dumars.
That's right.
And I told you before, it was my dad that recruited Joe Dumars, and as you bypassed him over.
That's right.
And my dad took Carl Shetland, he was the owner of Shetland Lincoln Mercury in Lake Charles. Mm-hmm. They drove up to Natchitoches Central, and they watched Joe Dumars, and they talked to him and his mom. And next thing you know, my dad he was a recruiter for McNeese back in the day, and got Joe to come down to Lake Charles.
That's right.
Yeah. Right. So to have him there, there presenting you with that honor, I guess that meant so much to you.
It did. Good morning, Tony. It's always good to be with you. It was an incredible weekend for myself and my family, and as you said, with the speech, that's that teacher part that comes out. Meaning that when you say things and do things, you want to be able to encourage and help others. And in my speech, I tried to talk. I wanted to be brief because when you got long, drawn out speeches, people turn you off.
Yes.
And I wanted to be brief and to the point. And I touched on, as you say, my home. And the reason I did that, Taylor Hill, Louisiana, I talked to Magic Johnson, and Magic said, well, what's a Taylor Hill, and the next question, well, how close is that to New Orleans? But those guys were fantastic. They welcomed me with open arms, coming in, excuse me, coming in, not being an NBA player, not being college or NBA coach. I was kind of leery going in. I would be accepted. Yeah, that's right. But they accepted me with open arms, and they all told me and said, "Now you're part of our family, fraternity." The Naismith. That's correct. That's right. The Naismith family. So it was a great, phenomenal weekend. I had a chance to talk with Larry Bird, Magic Johnson.
This is right?
Yes, you better believe it. And just to talk shop with these guys, Pat Riley, and some of the other greats that were there. I definitely wanted to meet Jerry West. Jerry West being the logo for the NBA. I missed him out in Phoenix, and I said, well, I'll catch him in Springfield.
He passed away.
And he passed away. That's correct. And of course, Kareem was not there either. He was under the weather. So those are two of the guys that I really, really wanted to shake hands and talk with. But the experience was just outstanding.
Well, and in reference to what Magic asked you, Russell Taylor Hill, I probably would say, be accurate in saying this, that may have been the only time ever that Taylor Hill has been mentioned on a national stage over the national worldwide media like that.
Right,
but to give credit to that little rural community right here outside of Boston, Louisiana,
that's right.
Where seemingly disproportionately black people live to be over 100 years old.
That's correct. That's all right. At it.
And y'all got still maybe at least recently, last 5 years, you had 2 or 3 World War II veterans still alive.
Three on within a mile radius.
Are they still?
No, they all have passed on. No, Mr. Killebrew is still here.
Oh wow.
He was in the Navy, so he is still living. He should be about 99 now. My dad was the oldest of the 3.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know what's something in the water, Coach. I don't know. I mean, because you look at you and nobody can figure out your age. I'm like Dorian Gray. I don't know if anybody know about Dorian Gray. You got some kind of painting in your closets here somewhere when you were like in your 20s or your 30s, and it hasn't changed.
Yeah.
But in any event, the experience for your family too.
Correct. My wife, who's been my rock ever since I've been in this profession. When I first started off, my first 2 seasons were losing season. I kind of felt that this might not be my.
I mean, it'd be your thing.
That's correct. But my wife stayed with me, encouraged me that I'll have to work harder, find a better way to do it. And we've been together for 50 years.
Praise the Lord.
And that's truly a blessing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're going to celebrate our 50-year wedding anniversary. I'm trying to get there, Coach.
Right.
I don't know if I'm going to survive it. I'm trying to get there. So, when you were talked about the acceptance that you got from these multi-millionaires. These guys have been all over the screen since we were kind of growing up. But like I said, out of all the people who've been inducted into this highest honor in basketball ever, how many have been high school basketball coaches?
I'm the 5th.
You're 5th?
I'm only the 5th high school coach to be inducted. Coach Robert Hughes, who passed away recently, he's the winningest coach in high school history with 1,333 wins. Right, he had a chance to meet him, outstanding guy. And then, of course, Morgan Wooten and there are a few others. The young man that coaches at Connecticut, his dad is in there.
Yeah. How many of them are certainly in the top 5? Because I know you're in the top 5 are still coaching.
I'm the only one that's still coaching
right now.
Right.
So your record continues.
Yeah.
And Coach, that's one thing you've said. You never looked, at any sort of record. This was not even on your radar. What was on your radar was molding young black boys, giving them hope and an opportunity to realize that they can achieve the American dream, and at the very least, they can go on to further their education in college.
Correct. And at the conclusion of my speech, Spike Lee, I noticed him out in the audience. At the conclusion of my speech, he stood by himself and gave me a standing ovation.
Wow.
I concluded with the fact, I introduced the fact that that my principal had offered me a $200 million incentive to coach, your lifetime incentive. and everybody kind of giggled, they said high school, but at the end I brought it all together, and I told them that, that my program had produced over 80 plus basketball scholarships to major universities, UConn, Alabama, USC, and all points in between. Also,
NBA athletes.
That's right, 2 NBA players. Also, we've had, doctors. And, of course, we have a vice president of a Fortune 500 company that came out of our basketball. That's
Marcus Brown.
Yes, right. Came out of our basketball program.
And matter of fact, he's the chairman of the Super Bowl.
That's correct. He is the current chairman of the Super Bowl. That's correct.
He give us some tickets, Coach. No comment. I'll leave that one alone. No comment.
Okay. But, and then also, doctors, lawyers, engineers. I have 2 pilots. One guy was a helicopter. He was over a helicopter squadron over in Desert Storm, Desert Shield. And, of course, currently I have one of my guys who's flying for FedEx.
Okay.
He flies for FedEx. And then I have a tugboat captain. Playwright.
Yes.
I didn't even get to that part. It was just so many avenues that we had, and even in the military. We've excelled in the military, also in the ministry.
Wow.
We've excelled in the ministry. So I couldn't name them all because we had time limit on our speech, except for Doug Collins, but we did have a time limit, so I had to try to compact a lot of information.
Well, you hit all the key points, and I want to profess this into fruition. I'm glad that you told me that Spike Lee was there. I best believe that you're going to get a call with him next year. Spike Lee sitting down with you, talking about trying to do a biopic or some sort of movie about this, because that is an amazing achievement. And I think, if memory serves me correctly, how many in those top 5 coaches in the country, high school basketball, look like me?
I think I'm the only one.
I think
Robert Hughes.
Robert Hughes has been 2.
Yeah.
And Mr. Hughes he's no longer
here. He passed away this past year. Yeah.
So the bottom line, you have an amazing story, incredible story, and then the fruit of your labor is unsurmountable of what you've been able to accomplish. So we're just extremely proud. I wanted to bring you in. I was hoping you were going to bring that jacket in so I could try to take a look at it, but I know it was tailored.
Bring the ring.
I'm looking at this beast. I've noticed it. I wanted to ask, look at this monster right here. And unlike the state championship rings we get, these are real diamonds right here. That's amazing. I got to get a picture of that, Coach. God bless you, Coach. We appreciate you. We love you. Keep doing the work that you're doing. And like I said, I hope God blesses you with being able to coach for another 15, 20 years.
Thank you so much. And I just try to be an inspiration to the young people in this area, and as I said before, to try to help them think outside the box.
Well, I'll tell you what, you are an incredible father figure, an amazing coach, a great educator, and one heck of a math teacher. I don't even know if they got to that point. I think they did mention that when bringing you up there.
They did.
Yeah, how many coaches out there? Because normally, you teach PE.
That's
but
correct.
you're a math teacher. You teach calculus and algebra and all of that kind of stuff. So you certainly are something different, and that is something special. So God bless you, Coach. Keep up the good work and keep being an ambassador, not only for Central Louisiana, but the entire state of Louisiana and the sport of basketball.
Thank you so much, Tony.
All right, we'll have more eyes open when we come back. That's legendary basketball coach Naismith honoree and inductee for the 2024 class, Coach Charles Smith. More eyes open when we come back. Don't go away.
Greetings to all families of Cenla and voters of District 6. This is Peter Williams, the only candidate qualified with the knowledge and understanding of the overall makeup of the newly formed 6th Congressional District. This is validated by my extensive agriculture and forestry business background and personal proven commitment to church, family, and community development advocacy for over 40 years. During these years, I constantly advocated for families in both urban and rural communities, seeking equality and program accessibility to those without a voice and left behind. Today, I ask you to consider letting me be your voice, your advocate for all the families of Cenla and District 6. Please vote on November 5th, Peter Williams, number 24 for Congress, and I will be the voice and will not let you down. Thank you very much.
I am Peter Williams, and I approve this message.
Hi, this is Dolores with Robinson Family Mortuary. We understand that times are hard and life is challenging, but planning for the homegoing service for a loved one should not be. So we are offering a service starting at $3,000, which comes in various color options. If you need more information, please give us a call, 318-442-7300. You can stop by at 1815 Military Highway in Pineville. Or if you happen to be in the Oakville area, please give us a call, 318-335-8656, to find out how our family can be of service to yours.
Tired of walking with constant pain because of feet problems? Look no further than my personal podiatrist, Dr. Ogali Leye, with Natchitoches Foot and Ankle Specialists. They're located at 415 Beanville Street, right behind the Natchitoches Hospital. We all know that every step we take depends on the condition of our feet. Dr. Ogali Leye is a former college athlete, also has vast experience in sports medicine. Dr. Leye treats a wide range of foot and ankle problems like diabetic foot care, bunions, chronic sores, problems, infections, ingrown toenails, planters, warts, wound care, and more. Professionals at Foot and Ankle Specialists in Natchitoches can help you get back on the good foot. Call today at 318-357-3668. That's 318-357-3668. So whether you need foot or ankle surgery because of a sports injury, or just need constant foot care because of diabetes, put your best foot forward and call Dr. Ogali Leye with Natchitoches Foot and Ankle Specialists today at 318-357-3668. Dr. Ogali Leye with Foot and Ankle Specialists in Natchitoches, 415 Greenwood Street, the only podiatrist in Cenla that is one step ahead of everyone else.
Hello, this is Myron K. Lawson, former president of the Alexandria City Council. I'm here today asking that you vote for our friend, Senator Cleo Fields, as the next United States Congressman. Senator Fields has been very, very effective when it comes to fighting for crime prevention, for economic development, and certainly for higher wages in our community. I ask that you again vote for number 21 on the ballot. Our friend, Senator Cleo Fields, as our next United States Congressman.
This is State Representative Ed Larverdane. I'm supporting my friend Cleo Fields for Congress. Cleo has been a very solid voice for our community. He fights hard for important issues such as minimum wage, health care, affordable housing, and early childhood funding for all of our children. He will bring that same passion and fight to Washington, D.C. He is the right choice and the only choice for our district. Fields for us. The only choice, vote number 21.
For leadership that we can trust, it's Fields for us.
I'm Cleo Fields, and I approve this message.
Listen live every weekday morning at 6 a.m. for Eyes Open with Tony Brown Radio Show. The KTTP app allows you to listen to the best of old school R&B and today's hit 24/7, all day, every day. With the KTTP app available now in the App Store or Google Play.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tony Brown. This is your statewide news you can use on this Thursday, October the 17th. News today being brought to you by Dr. Ogali Leye's office with Natchitoches Foot and Ankle Specialists. Want to remind you that Rapides schools are closed for the next 2 days. We're going to start in St. James Parish, where 2 men were shot within minutes of each other on Tuesday night in Lutcher, Louisiana, with 1 man dying of these injuries after being transported to a hospital. According to the DSO, the sheriff's office, the sheriff said they're looking for 4 men believed to be responsible. Deputies responded to the 911 call at approximately 8:40 p.m. Tuesday night about a shooting in the 2100 block of Louisiana 44, found 1 man shot, according to the release. About 10 minutes later, a second caller reported another male shot in the same area. Both victims were transported to area hospitals for medical treatment, one by a family member, the other by ambulance. One of the victims later died. The name of that victim has not been identified. A suspect vehicle was located in the eastbound lane on the west West Bank side of the Veterans Memorial Bridge was damaged from gunfire. The sheriff said they received information that 4 males got out and left on foot. Deputies from the St. James Parish and the St. John Parish Sheriff's Office are currently searching for these men. Anyone with information about this case or these suspects are being asked to contact the St. James Parish Sheriff's Office at 225-562-2200 or just dial 911. 5 men were arrested in Livingston Parish following an investigation into their social media interactions with minors. The arrest stemmed from investigations by the parish's Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force. According to the Livingston Parish Sheriff's Office, they announced this on Wednesday. 4 of the men were booked on account of indecent behavior with juveniles and computer solicitation of a minor. 26-year-old Emmanuel Rivas of Denham Springs, 31-year-old Lee Lepke of Soldiers Grove, Wisconsin, 41-year-old Jason Shaw of Walker, and 37-year-old Paul Briley Venable of Lafayette. 27-year-old Brandon Bueller of Hammond was also booked on a single count of indecent behavior with a juvenile. The LPSO ICAC task force is constantly utilizing innovative ways to combat the online dangers awaiting the children of the parish and the state of Louisiana. Sheriff Jason Arndt said that detectives are identifying individuals preying on naive and innocent juveniles using social media platforms and gaming servers online. Each arrestee's investigation is ongoing. 3 suspects have been arrested following a narcotics investigation in the Atlanta Parish area. Agents arrived at a residence on West Wilson and Ville Platte back on October the 15th for a search warrant. Several men were found inside or outside and were detained within the home. A promethazine bottle weighing 3.5 fluid ounces was found in the kitchen with an obliterated name for the prescription, as if someone had marked the name out with a permanent marker. A pink firearm was found in a back bedroom, a Cobra F380 caliber. There were also 17 white pills found on a pill bottle with no name on the label. These pills were identified as 10 milligram hydrocodone. They also found bags of cocaine and methamphetamine. They don't give us the amount, but it sounds to me like this was a very trivial bust with very little evidence. Talking about a couple of pills in a bottle, 3.5 fluid ounces. Yeah, that's jeez. A maroon truck was parked in the middle of the road, blocking the roadway with a canceled license plate. As a result, 3 suspects were arrested. Man, these black men are getting arrested for absolutely little to nothing. 35-year-old Marcus Garrison of Ville Platte was charged with possession of methamphetamine, possession of intent of cocaine, possession with intent crack. Bond was set at $750,000, almost $500,000. 31-year-old Christopher Washington of New Iberia was charged with possession with intent. Same thing. His bond was also set at $750,000. Narcotics totals, they give it, 23 grams of crack, 3.5 fluid ounces of promethazine, 873 grams of meth, and 922 grams of cocaine. They obviously were dealing, but it's not a big bust or what police officers would call a major collar. Esther Williams hugged her 3 sons, kissed them on the cheek, and told them she was sorry before walking to the front of a Baton Rouge courtroom to stand before a judge Wednesday morning. 3 months ago, the Baton Rouge woman pled guilty to manslaughter for fatally shooting 12-year-old Cedrica Lee during a confrontation with her live-in boyfriend's ex-girlfriend. District Judge Brad Myers sentenced Williams to 20 years in prison in an emotional hearing inside the 19th Judicial District Courthouse. 27-year-old Williams was inconsolable as Myers imposed the sentence. Her children watched as bailiffs escorted their wailing mother out of the courtroom in handcuffs afterwards. The May 13, 2023 shooting happened outside a central apartment in the 14,700 block of Forest Grove Avenue, where Williams lived with 37-year-old Patrick Johnson. She was feuding with Johnson's ex-lover, Gentria Renee Haley. Prosecutors said Haley began harassing Williams when she discovered Johnson was dating her, and Williams told officers the woman banged on their front door and barged into the couple's residence on multiple occasions. The evening of the shooting, Haley found the couple to a local convenience store followed the couple to a local convenience store, then drove to their apartment with Lee and two other girls in her SUV, according to police. She pulled up across the street from the complex and sent Lee and one of the other teenage girls to knock on the front door while she honked her horn. Williams told detectives she was frustrated with Haley's harassment and went outside. When she noticed two unknown people approaching the house, she pulled a gun out of her fanny pack and fired a single shot at Haley's SUV. The bullet struck Lee in the head as she retreated down the driveway. Prosecutors agreed Williams had no deliberate intent to kill the child, but Assistant District Attorney Melanie Fields said despite her continued harassment, Haley was sitting inside her vehicle at the time and posed no imminent danger. The judge agreed and said he wasn't buying arguments from Williams' defense attorney Robert Tucker Jr. that the woman was in enough peril to justify shooting at a car full of people. Williams was indicted on a charge of second-degree murder and faced a mandatory life sentence. She pled guilty to the lesser charge of manslaughter on July the 17th. During that same hearing, Myers gave Haley a year of probation after she copped to a charge of stalking and contributing to the delinquency of juveniles as part of the plea deal with state prosecutors. A group of Pineville residents gathered outside the Pineville City Hall on Wednesday morning for a peaceful protest expressing their concern over voter suppression. The demonstration comes after Pineville Mayor Rich Dupree announced he was stepping down on the heels of an extramarital affair with a city employee. Instead of appointing a new mayor, the group feels there should be an election for the citizens of Pineville to elect a leader of their choice. Eddie Lashney said the people have the right to choose their leadership. He says that's simple. All we want is the right to choose. That's it. Samantha Stanley said, we just want our election to be free. We want our voices as Pineville constituents to be heard, and the actions of the mayor have been unethical and deplorable. She went on to say, if it were any other office, this man would have been fired. The Republican Party of Rapides Parish also sent a letter to Mayor Rich Dupree and the Pineville City Council dated October 13th urging Dupree to resign by October the 17th in order for citizens to elect the next mayor for the city in a special election. And, of course, today is October the 17th, and we'll see if anything comes as a result of the protests. When Donaldsonville residents head to the polls beginning next week, they will face a rematch in the mayor's race between a 5-term incumbent and a community advocate recently arrested on a felony count. 68-year-old Glenn Price was arrested last week by the Ascension Parish Sheriff's Office for allegedly purchasing stolen copper wire and selling it for more than $25,000. Police also said he sold the wire without the required license and documentation, according to the SO from the department, and the arrest follows a 2022 no-contest plea by Price to a misdemeanor theft for which he owed more than $53,000 in restitution last month. Price, who was released on a $10,000 bail Tuesday, did not respond to a request for comment via email Wednesday, and his phone was disconnected. But in a conversation before his arrest last week, he portrayed the election as a referendum on Mayor Leroy Sullivan's leadership and pointed to his own involvement in community initiatives. 67-year-old Sullivan stood by his record, highlighting state and federal grants that have flowed into the city and partnerships involving job training and education. In a post on social media, Taboo Harley here in Alexandria announced that it's closing its doors. The dealership was located on North Mall Drive and offered new and pre-owned Harley-Davidson motorcycles as well as parts and vehicle servicing. The store released a statement which said, in part, we're saddened to share the news that Taboo Harley-Davidson has officially closed its doors. We want to thank all of our loyal customers and the incredible community that supported us over the years. Reportedly, they intend to contact customers with motorcycles either currently in service or under a service contract. And finally, this week, Louisiana will witness a bigger and brighter moon. October's full moon, also referred to as the Hunter's Moon, will coincide with the third supermoon of the year. A supermoon occurs only when the moon is closest distance from the Earth. This can make the moon look up to 14% bigger and 30% brighter compared to the supermoon in August. This supermoon is the most rare, but it will be the brightest. I'm Tony Brown. That's your statewide news you can use on this Thursday, October the 17th, Eyes Open Radio and 1110 AM KTTP. Have a safe and a blessed day.
Listen live every weekday morning at 6 a.m. for Eyes Open with Tony Brown radio show. The KTTP app allows you to listen to the best of old school R&B and today's hit 24/7, all day, every day. With the KTTP app available now in the App Store or Google Play. Eyes Open with Tony Brown and a hot cup of coffee. An informative and positive way to start your day.
Right here in your Premier Morning News magazine. Can you hear, brother?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I was making.
If you can just a little bit.
I can tell you, let me make sure because it's got a little short in it. I'm glad to have in the studio with us Mr. Malcolm Larberdane, of course, former Alexandria City Council member and running to reclaim that seat at Alexandria City Council District 1. Always a pleasure. Welcome back, my friend.
Good morning, Tony. It's always a pleasure to be on your show.
Yep. A couple of days before early voting is kicking off, so I know you've been out there campaigning, and a lot of people are, gravitating towards your message because many people just, quite frankly, want to see some progress on the city council. And when you give somebody your voice, Malcolm, you expect them to use it in a positive way, and that certainly hasn't been the case, not for District 1.
Yeah, I mean, it's been great. We've been walking the street. Well, I've been walking the streets, getting in people's faces and talking to them and making that personal ask for their support, and the reception has been really, really good.
Okay. Now, you served on the council for 4 years.
No. I served about 13, 14 months.
Oh, that was it? Okay.
13, 14 months.
Explain what happened there.
Well, my brother became state rep.
That's right.
And had a remaining term. Mr. Dejois did some time, spent some time, and then there was an election, and I won the election, and I finished out the term. And it was about 13 months.
Okay. So you really didn't have enough time to really
most of it was with COVID.
Yeah, during COVID, so it was really a tumultuous time for everybody, and certainly the turnout in that election, that last election was
disappointing. It was a disappointment.
What was the percentage, you think?
About 13-14%.
Oh, get out of here.
Yeah,
Are you kidding me?
It was low.
Yeah, so, people were shut in and home.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of, energy around the race, and, a lot of people just kind of stayed home.
A lot of people did.
Well, that's certainly not going to be the case this
Well, it
election.
shouldn't be, with President Harris running, Vice President Harris running, and she is generating a lot of energy. And with the congressional race, that's generating a lot of energy. And the city council races, hopefully the turnout will be very good this go around.
Have I looked at any numbers, or what do y'all expect voter turnout?
I really haven't looked at the numbers. I'm not really focusing on the numbers. I'm just focusing on getting out there and winning one vote at a time.
One vote at a time. Well, what are they saying out there about what's been done in that particular district, or what hasn't been done in District 1 over the course of the last 4 years?
Well, I'm telling you what I'm saying.
Okay.
And I'm not here to talk about the other person.
That's what I'm talking about.
Persons. I'm just telling people that affordable housing is important to me. Crime, utility bills, affordable housing is really a big issue in District 1. And certainly as the housing stock is very poor, which results in people paying high utility bills. And I know that's something that the city can address. The city can do something about it. And unfortunately, some folks in the city believe if you help people, you're giving them a hand out. I believe that you can give people a hand up. So, affordable housing is something that's very important to me. I personally feel if your house isn't right, your life isn't right. And I really feel if we work on creating prettier neighborhoods, that would deal with a lot of the violence that we're dealing with and the despair. So affordable housing is something that's really, really important to me. And, affordable housing and addressing crime.
When you look at the city of Alexandria, we know that even when Kelvin Sanders was city attorney, they had worked out some things about adjudicated property, these dilapidated structures. When I go, particularly in your district and some of the majority African-American districts, District 2 and 3, I'm just appalled at what I see. I can go down blocks, and on one block there's one house that's livable, and there's 4 or 5 houses. There's there's despair. There's a food desert. There's a pharmacy desert. There's no economic development. There's flooding in some areas.
Now, the north side fortunately doesn't flood, but one thing that needs to be pointed out that the affordable housing issue isn't solely on the city. It's also a part of the lending structure, because it is a challenge going to the bank and getting a loan for a home in the heart of District 1. That's a challenge.
Yeah, it is.
And that's where the affordable housing program comes into play, where you get people just a little bit closer to that dream. I liken it, I guess, building a new house in District 1 is like trying to climb a 20-rung ladder, and the first 10 rungs are missing, and you have to hop up 10 rungs, then pull yourself up to climb.
Yeah.
And that is a very daunting task for a lot of people. I just want to put a few more rungs in that ladder and make it easier for people to acquire affordable housing. And the program that I want to push would be one that helps people with closing costs and their down payments.
And that's a really big deal, because that'll help in many cases. You're talking about 5,000 or upwards, 5,000 or 6,000 to help with that.
And Shreveport has a program that I like. So I'm not talking about a distant place that no one has heard of. Shreveport has a pretty nice affordable housing program that I think would be very helpful here.
Well, even when people have decent credit, or credit that is similar to people who don't look like them, whether they go to a local bank, the rejection is real.
Yeah. I mean, if you go to Evangeline Bank and you want to,
or even River Bank,
and you want to build a $100,000 house in District 1, they will give you $50,000.
Wow. And how do you make up that gap?
Yeah.
The big problem.
So it's a bigger issue. Also, I've noticed that properties in black communities are tremendously undervalued, and that just kind of feeds into the problem. That you really can't have nice housing in certain areas, and I think it gives birth to this notion that once you make it, you leave.
Yeah, that's true. You're not going to talk about it, but I will as a journalist. I'm compelled to speak truth to power and to tell the truth. Last time your opponent, I don't even have to mention his name, ran for this race, he owed $30,000 in back child support. You would classify that as a deadbeat dad. No one is talking about had he paid that, has he made amends to that. Nobody's talking about that. I'm also concerned that as a Democrat and a lifelong Democrat, just as yourself, as your father and your father was and your mother still listed as they, even your brother representing us in the House, that you would have a candidate who is a black Democrat who is not concerned or very boastful about getting money from white Republicans. That's a concern for me. The other concern is the latest concern that he may not be able to qualify. His qualification may be illegal for the simple fact, and I've looked at the stuff that's out on Facebook. We've posted it. I've talked to some of the people who have generated and done their research on this, that you got a candidate that has been on the ethics board $2,500 and to date hasn't paid it and is trying to get some sort of waiver to do so, saying that he was a novice, some kind of mealy-mouth excuse. You know, you're 88 days past the due date of paying it, and almost a year you had to pay it, and that was 2 to 3 years ago. So you've been owing $2,500 for almost 3 years, and my question is to people, is you got a guy that ran the last time that owed $30K in back child support. Now he owes the state of Louisiana, which according to Louisiana revised statute, and I got the statute here, it's on my Facebook, that you cannot owe the state of Louisiana and qualify as a candidate in any election. And how this guy is running, I guess the qualification issue would probably be addressed maybe by the ethics board if someone has found that, but that's a concern to me. The scripture tells us to owe no man and renders to Caesar what Caesar is due. So if you owe your baby mama $30K 4 years ago, you owe the state of Louisiana $2,500, and the law says that you cannot qualify in an election when you owe the state, it baffles to me how this guy is still able to run in a race. Now, you don't have to address that, but I'm just...
I really have no opinion on that. That's not my issue.
He has a spot that he's running, I saw on social media, and you have to address this because he's mentioned you, maybe not by name, but he says you're running as a hobby. This is a hobby for Malcolm Larberdane. I saw the spot. I don't know if you've seen it. I talked to you yesterday. You say you haven't seen it, but it's all over social media.
Well, hobbies that I know of, the hobbies that I have are exercising. I occasionally play golf.
Basically he's saying that as a hobby to you, you're not going to take this post seriously.
No, I think he's sadly mistaken if I'm the one he was referring to. There are a lot of people in District 1 who are suffering. Period, point blank, and something needs to be done to address their issues. He's had 4 years to do that job.
Mm-hmm.
If he was doing a great job, I probably wouldn't be in front of you today talking to
you.
Running.
Yeah. Are you even running this place? Yeah. Well, let's address the elephant in the room also, these utility bills. Malcolm, when you got a...
Poor housing for a lot of people, brother.
Yeah,
poor housing.
When you got a 75-year-old lady living in District 1 who's in a shotgun house, her lease is $500, but her utility bill is $600. That's a problem.
That's a big problem. Big problem. And I'd like to make sure that the city is charging residents the lowest possible rate. Unfortunately, we've used utilities to fund other areas of city government, and that should be a no-no. I wonder, are we as a city being competitive to get people to come here? Because...
Economic development issue.
Yeah. Are we being aggressive to remain competitive? I have some doubts about that. And we really need to be working on growing our utility base. We owe a lot of money on a power plant that we renovated 8-10 years ago.
I think we spent over $5 million on that.
Well, we spent more than that, I believe.
$140 million.
Yeah, we spent a lot of money on that.
And when you pass by that plant,
it's hardly.
There's nobody there.
It's hardly use.
Yeah, it's not operational. We're still buying, I think, power and utilities from down south.
But the monthly tab is about $800,000 a month that we pay on that.
Oh my gosh.
So
almost $1 million a month.
Yes.
On something that we're not using.
Yeah, and that bill is...
That's a money pit.
That's one way of looking at it, but the money is going to get paid, and you have to ask: is the city being competitive?
Let me ask you this: we got high unemployment, high dropout. We got one of the highest murder rates in the country. Alexandria is still listed as one of the worst places to come and live. That may very well be a hindrance when you talk about economic development. We have a school system, particularly that is not, as good as it should be. Let me just say that point. So when a company is looking at relocating or building something in central Louisiana, they're looking at all those factors. Cost of living, they're looking at all of that. Lifestyle factors.
I understand that we have some issues, but I don't see it as all being doom and gloom. I see that our glass is half full. And Alexandria is the guy who has a decent build, but needs a haircut and a shoe signed.
Some lipstick and rouge.
Yeah, yeah. So, we have our issues, but it's not all doom and gloom. I think there's tremendous room for improvement. I think with the right people and the right will, we can get some things going in a different direction, a better direction.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to be one of the persons who's leading that charge.
Absolutely. I saw the last piece of legislation that your opponent or the incumbent was asked to introduce into the city council. Had something to do with funding another military-style assault vehicle. Now, we've had one when Jacques Roy first came in that sat up there that's still rusting somewhere, maybe in some sort of firehouse or whatever. It was used maybe once or twice. Now, Jacques Roy has asked the councilman for District 1 to introduce an ordinance to fund to the tune of more than $500,000. Is that justifiable in spending that kind of money when you have people who are saying that here is yet we're going to fund another weapon of mass destruction that's going to primarily be patrolling the black community? It's like taking a gun and pointing it at a constituent in District 1 and then asking them to pay for the gun that's turned on them.
Well, I want to first begin by saying that,
do we need a tank?
Well, we need law enforcement. We all need all police officers. They do a very important function. They work on keeping us safe because, trust me, if something breaks out, I'm not going to it with a gun, and I'm pretty sure you're not either. And we have some brave men and women who do that, and I applaud them for the job that they do. Having said that, I don't know if it's a wise allocation to be getting a tank. That money could be better used towards community policing and hiring some more and training
better officers.
Train better officers who are skilled in de-escalation.
Amen to that.
Conflict resolution, and just really get in the neighborhood and get to know who they're policing. So getting me to vote for a tank, that'd be a hard sell for me.
And I think that's a smart choice and definitely a great answer to that question. I think most people who live in the district could probably agree with you. You've been working in the capacity in the legal realm, particularly trying to help juveniles.
I've been
how many years now?
Overall, I've been practicing 25 years.
So what have you seen in those 25 years, not just practicing, but trying to make sure that juveniles, because you've seen a lot of stuff. You just had to defend a lot of these juveniles and trying to save them, get them back into school. So what are you seeing out there?
Well, a lot of people read about them, but I see when they come
online.
When they come in an orange jumpsuit, I see it, and it's very disheartening when I see young teenage black males handcuffed to one another,
children
walking into court.
Yeah,
and
perp walk.
Yeah, and it's very disheartening. A lot of them are just lost, misguided, clueless, really not have a good understanding of how the world works.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes some of their rules are just really kooky and counterproductive and get them in a situation that they're in. Despite seeing that, I still feel that a lot of them can still be saved and rehabilitated. And also, I want to shout out to foster parents in this area. They are doing a very invaluable job. I applaud them because we have a lot of foster kids in our area, and to have your house open to young people who, may have bad parents. I mean, we have some really
children have to be taken away.
Yeah. I mean, we have some really good people around here who are doing an excellent job. So I always give a shout out to my foster parents. They're some wonderful people.
So basically, what you're asking the constituents of District 1 is to give you a shot, give you some time to do the job, because last time having less than a year, that's not really enough time to get anything done.
Really, and COVID was
a bad time. Yeah.
I also want to point out that the North 15th Street Bridge.
Yeah.
I cast all the votes for that. The Helen Black Park for the bathrooms, I cast all the votes for that. And just unfortunately, those projects were completed without me being in office, but I was one who cast all those votes. District 1 has other issues, other parks that need to be addressed. Like I said, affordable housing is a really big issue that needs to be tackled. Crime, blight. I was just wondering, like last night, I know that we spent a lot of money on demolition, but I was wondering, why can't the city just have a demolition program as opposed to just hiring
subcontracting people out?
Yeah, you know, the city could get the equipment and
do it themselves.
Do it.
That would save a lot of money.
Oh yes, yes.
You know why? Because it makes too much sense, Malcolm.
You know, so you know, I was just thinking, like, you know, that's
a good idea.
Just like we have sanitation workers.
Yes.
Why couldn't we just train a sanitation team to
keep out of streets and works?
Yeah, and of course, you know, they'd get a bit more pay for that work, but instead of spending $15,000-$20,000 to raise a structure, we could reduce that expense to less than half that.
Yeah.
Which means the money would go further, which means more properties would be raised, which means more blight would be removed. So I'm just kind of perplexed that we've never had a demolition team.
Well, you know, that's why we need fresh ideas and people like yourself at the table to interject these ideas and just make people see, you know, it's more cost effective. Let's just do it ourselves instead of hiring somebody to do it.
Yeah, because I mean, if we got guys who can pick up trash, I'm pretty sure, and we got guys who can use lawnmowers, I'm pretty sure we have gentlemen who can use a track hoe of some sort.
Absolutely, and get this place cleaned up. Because anything else you want to say before I let you go? My early voting is kicking off on Saturday.
No, tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Okay.
Starts off tomorrow. It goes from tomorrow until I think Tuesday, August 29th.
Okay.
I just want to let people know that your voice is your vote.
October 29th.
October 29th.
Mm-hmm.
Your voice is your vote. If you want to take District 1 in a different direction, I'm the man for the job. I'm independent. I will say what needs to be said. I understand the issues. I enjoy reading.
Amen. So that means you will do your homework before you get to the council meeting.
Yes, I can
and
read.
I have to look over somebody's shoulder to direct
yes.
you on what to do and how to think and what to say. I respect that.
I know the issues, and
you do read. I mean, you got a lot of reading.
I do a lot of reading, and
you do.
I can do the job. So it's time to make District 1 number 1, Malcolm Larverdane, number 39, District 1 City Councilman.
Well, I'll tell you what, you know, this journalist and this operation here, we're going to throw our support 100% behind you because we think that's going to be best for the city. Plus, we need some independent thinkers. We need people who have some fresh ideas. We need some people who know how to politic, who know how to reach across the aisle and do what's best for not just District 1, but the entirety of the city of Alexandria.
And I also want to stress that I am not an elected official. I'm a public servant. There's a difference.
And I love the fact that not only you, your brother, and your family, and your father before you, you guys are economically emancipated. You don't work for anybody. You work for yourself, so you can't be controlled. You can't be bought, and that's not in your DNA.
And that goes a long way when it comes to fighting for people. You know, when you have someone who's controlling your purse strings, they can kind of influence you and direct you in directions that you may not want to go in, but you know, that's how it is for some people.
Yeah, you know, and like I said, the biggest problem I have is when you have Caucasian Republicans financing a black Democrat, people should question the reasons of why they're doing that, because they're okay with this lackadaisical, representation that we have on the council, and we just need something better. So you always have to be wary, and when you write somebody a check, the bottom line is you expect something in return for that check, and the question is, what are they getting in return of keeping the incumbent in that office, who absolutely has done nothing and has introduced nothing substantial in that community in the 4 years that he's been there? And I know I've looked at his record,
well,
and it's dismal.
I think he proposed an ordinance to hold parents responsible for the criminal actions of their children. Now, What
do you think about that?
Well, I will say there should be limited instances where parents should be held accountable because we've heard about those situations where you have a child
secured,
and a parent knows that a child has some mental health issues, and you are either buying a gun or having a gun readily accessible. Yeah, I think that could be a problem. But if Pookie or Ray Ray wants to deal dope or wants to do something foolish, at some point you have to realize that child is making a decision. And I just don't think parents should be held accountable unless parents are really playing a very important role in influencing the criminal activity. But yeah. And I think we have sufficient laws on the books to do that anyway.
Absolutely.
So, no new law is needed.
Absolutely. And the number on the ballot?
Number 39.
That's Malcolm Larverdane asking for your vote for Alexandria City Council District 1. Always a pleasure, my friend.
Appreciate you, Tony. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. More Eyes Open when we come back, folks. Don't go away.
Hello, this is Malcolm Larverdane, number 39 on your ballot for Alexandria City Council District 1. The time is now to get District 1 and the city of Alexandria unified and on a path that leads to a good quality of life for all of its residents. I'm asking you to work with me to turn our neighborhoods around and create good affordable housing, safe neighborhoods, and a positive outlook for our youth and the future. I'm asking for your support and vote to serve as your next city councilman for District 1. We must act now. Early voting for the November 5th election begins this Friday, October 18th, and ends on Tuesday, October 29th. Let's send a clear message. To expect better, and together we will do better. I'm Malcolm Larverdane, number 39 on your ballot for Alexandria City Council District 1.
Rapides Primary Healthcare Centers now has convenient locations to better serve residents of Central Louisiana. Now you can get affordable medical, dental, and mental health care at 1217 Willow Glen River Road and 605 Brown Bend Road in Alexandria and 1007 Shirley Road in Bunkie. If you need quality health care for your baby from prenatal, during pregnancy, and up until adulthood, then look no further than Rapides Primary Healthcare Centers. Rapides Primary Healthcare Centers continues to be the affordable, timely answer to all your family's healthcare needs. All services are available to anyone regardless of their ability to pay. You or your family will never be turned away. Rapides Primary is a certified KidMed site with a sliding fee scale. Payment is based on income and size of family. Medicaid, Medicare, and most commercial insurance is accepted for all medical services. For appointments and information on all medical services, call 318-487-4400. That's 318-487-4400. Rapides Primary Healthcare Center, now with 3 locations to better serve Central Louisiana. A new beginning to quality health care.
Wake up, everybody, no more sleeping in bed.
Greetings to all families of Cenla and voters of District 6. This is Peter Williams, the only candidate qualified with the knowledge and understanding of the overall makeup of the newly formed 6th Congressional District. This is validated by my extensive agriculture and forestry business background and personal proven commitment to church, family, and community development advocacy for over 40 years. During these years, I constantly advocated for families in both urban and rural communities, seeking equality and program accessibility to those without a voice and left behind. Today, I ask you to consider letting me be your voice, your advocate for all the families of Cenla and District 6. Please vote on November 5th, Peter Williams, number 24 for Congress, and I'll be the voice and will not let you down. Thank you very much. I am Peter Williams, and I approve this message.
Looking for the perfect place to host your next event? The Community Center at England Airport can make your special occasion memorable. Reserve the Community Center at England Airport for your next wedding, reunion, or corporate function. The possibilities are endless with our column-free main room and spacious outdoor patio. Have a favorite caterer, decorator, or band? The choice is yours. For information regarding cost, rental agreements, and event planning, visit englandairpark.org.
Listen live every weekday morning at 6 a.m. for Eyes Open with Tony Brown radio show. The KTTP app allows you to listen to the best of old school R&B and today's hit 24/7, all day, every day. With the KTTP app available now in the App Store or Google Play. You're listening to Eyes Open with Tony Brown. Serious talk for serious people.
We're back right here in your Premier Morning News Magazine. What a program we have had. And I tell you what, folks, this is not the time to sit on our hands. This is not the time to sit back and do absolutely nothing. This is the time for us to exercise our constitutional right to go out and vote. I'm glad to have back in the studio, certainly no stranger to this program on my station, Sister Candy Kristoff and Gerber Porter there with Vote Smart. It's a brand new pack that they started here for Central Louisiana, and I'm so glad that they did that. I want to welcome both of y'all. Good morning, Sister Kristoff and Brother Porter.
Good morning. Good morning.
Brother, good morning. How you doing, Gerber?
I'm doing great.
Get over there to the microphone there, brother.
I'm doing great. It's always a pleasure to be here. It's been a long time.
It's been a minute.
All right. We got Gerber. Make sure the mic is on over there on that end, Gerber. Hit the little button at the top.
At the top.
Yeah.
Okay, how's that?
Go ahead. Say something.
Test.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing.
Keep going.
Testing.
Okay, that's a mic number.
What about at the top up here?
Yeah, make sure it's on all the way up.
There you go. Try that.
Okay, there we go.
All right. It needed a woman's touch.
There we go. Just like the presidential campaign.
Hey, that's all we needed. That's what we needed, a woman's touch.
So let's talk about why you guys kind of got together. And so glad that we got a group of individuals who are concerned about the community, who have been active in the community politically, both you and him. Gerber as a former city council member, you as a person who actually ran for Congress and did a wonderful job, let me say. I was kind of looking for you to run again, but you're going in a different direction for now. I'm hoping to leave that door open for you, down the line, because I think you're a valuable asset, both of you, to the community. Y'all really care. And Gerber, you and I go way back to Barack Obama when you felt the need to open up an office here in Central Louisiana. I dare you. So he recognized it coming from New Orleans that didn't have former President Barack Obama didn't have a presence here. So opening that office and contacting the campaign and getting something going. So both of you guys have really been active in the community, and I want to commend both of you for that, and certainly starting this PAC. Why was this PAC necessary?
It's necessary because we got tired. Well, I've heard so many people have been saying, look, this is going on, that's going on, this going on. Elected officials throwing rocks, hiding their hands, elected officials outright lying and misleading the people. Giving the persona that they're doing things that are good for our communities and not.
Yeah.
And so
because you say that you're doing something doesn't mean
it's true. We want to educate and we want to hold people accountable, and that's what Vote Smart is about: letting people know what is really going on, fact checking, and then calling people out when they need to be called out on things, and also educating them as to who we feel is the best candidate for our community at this time. And I really want to stress this: Vote Smart is not black-white. Now, it is very obvious that the poverty and that the blight is on the African American side of town. But we want to do what Dr. King encouraged others to do, and that is to look at the content of the character of someone rather than the color of their skin. So it's not a black-white issue. It ain't really a Democrat-Republican issue with us. It's an accountability issue, and whether or not you are really representing all people. And we know that Reuben is not representing all people. We know that when it comes to affordable housing, we know when it comes to putting things into our community, when it comes to his it's just not there. It's just not what's best for us. And he's been there all these years.
Absolutely. Let me before I say something, I want to get Gerber in on this as a former city council member. What I've seen in Lee Rubin is a guy who only shows up in the black community when it's time to have an election. What I've seen in Lee Rubin, and when you take a look at his record, Gerber, he consistently votes along racial lines, and it's not for the entirety of Alexandria. It's usually whatever the mayor asks them and how to vote. So he votes prior to certainly Harry Silver, passing away. He votes with Jim Ballard. He votes with Chuck Fowler, and now this Lizzie Felter person. They always vote together. It's like we have a segregated city council, and they dare not vote for anything positive that's going to be for the betterment of Alexandria and certainly the black constituency.
Absolutely. He's very consistent. So,
he's consistent in not helping the black community.
Exactly. And he shows us who he is. He tells us who he is. And a lot of us still don't believe him.
So when somebody tell you who they are, believe them.
Exactly.
It shows you who they are.
Exactly. He voted, this is a comment he made on the city council. I don't believe in holidays for black people. Now, this is when the city council was voting for Juneteenth.
Which is now a national holiday.
It was already a national holiday. The city was adopting it as a holiday for our employees.
Exactly.
That was his comment, and he made the same comment about MLK. But you see, folks got to understand, where does that sentiment come from? Okay, he's not your friend. He's not your ally. Okay, he also was one of the persons who caused Gator to go into chaos. He put Gregory Upton on there. He removed Candace Cheney, and he put Gregory Upton, and then Gregory Upton brought the nuclear option. He wanted to blow the whole thing up.
Do away with it.
And they got rid of it.
Because they didn't control it.
That's right. They got rid of the black women that was heading it.
Yes.
And then they took the money, and now that money that was going into the black community for economic development, that money's going to Bringers to demolish it. $1 million. So you see,
so that's economic development.
that we don't have.
And let me emphasize this. That money from Gator is not off the backs of the citizens of Alexandria. That money is from taxes for hotels from other people coming in. Again, that is not taxpayers' dollars. That is money from hotels' taxes that's coming in. That's not off the backs of people. So people that live here in Alexandria aren't paying the tax to go to that.
Absolutely.
And I don't think a lot of people understand that. And some people may be thinking, well, why does Gator so important to them? That's an opportunity that Johnny Bernardo fought for and others fought for so that we could have to help in our communities.
Absolutely. And you and I all know that Lee Rubin doesn't make a move without the approval of his master, Jock Roy. Right. And we know that Jock Roy is ultimately behind dismantling Gator because he wants control of that like he has control of the housing authority. He wants control of that's why the former executive director of the England Airpark left because he wants control of that. So this guy is like a mini Trump. He wants his hand into everything, and he wants to be able to control anything. So the one thing I certainly can say, well, let's talk about Reddix. Let's talk about his work.
I want to emphasize
I want to say two things on this topic that we're on right now, then we move on.
Okay.
So, this redistricting, this gerrymandering, or what I call Lizzie-mandering. Now, Lee Rubin was a major part of that.
Yes.
Now, that was to play musical chairs with precincts, move a precinct from District 3 to District 4, move one from District 2 to District 3.
They were able to do it.
And the net result was that ensures that they will always have a majority on the city council.
Absolutely.
And that hurts the people, and the people need to understand that. The other thing is that why we started Vote Smart, a political action committee, unfortunately in politics, money rules the day.
Absolutely.
The candidates with the most money or more money can reach more people.
Absolutely.
The average citizen doesn't pay attention to politics on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis. They tune in only when we're coming right up on the election. Money is the way to reach the masses.
Absolutely.
Well, black candidates don't have
a lot of money.
And here's the other thing.
And they don't get any support here, with the exception of Reddick's from the Republican Party.
Yeah, exactly, and that's my point.
Yeah.
See, so we need something to counteract that, right?
Yes.
So less than 2% of the people contribute to a political campaign. So now, but with a PAC like Vote Smart, come join us, $10. And guess what? If we get enough people at $10, we're going to pool that money and we're going to make the best of it. We'll be able to do advertisement. We'll be able to influence the rest of the masses who's not paying attention. We can educate them, keep them up to date, make them knowledgeable, empower them to go out and know that I need to vote and I know what I'm voting for because this is in my best interest. And that's why we formed this PAC.
Well, you're going to get my $10 before y'all walk out of here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do one better. Y'all get together. Let's write something that we can start running some advertisement. This is going to be on me because I believe in what you guys are doing. I know it's necessary. Yes, I believe the scripture. And yes, what you do for money is the root of all evil. But Ecclesiastes 10:19, a feast is made for laughter, wine makes merry, but money answers all things. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
So we know we need money, and you got my $10, and we'll get together, Candy. Y'all write something up. Let's get y'all to voice it, and let's start running this next week about raising some money for
Vote Smart. We also have our Kamala Harris signs that we have for everyone to put out with our Vote Smart information on.
How do I get a sign?
Then come by Vote Smart office at 1617 Branch Street, Suite 700.
Okay.
In 600, Suite 600 in Alexandria.
You got a storefront?
Yes, we
Come
have a
on,
storefront.
yeah, that's all
We're not playing. We're not playing. Once upon a time, when we were having our Gator meetings and seeing what the problem was and looking at the landscape and all of that, we said we need a plan. Okay, we got a plan. We need to organize. We haven't organized. We organized. We need to make sure that we are able to go forward and implement this plan to make positive, productive change, and we can. Two things I want to point out.
Sure.
One, and that is the way that our city structure is that it is designed to be city council led, not mayor led.
That's the charter.
City council led.
Who writes the checks has the power.
City council makes the rules. City council sets the pace and the direction for where the city is going.
But since Jack Rowling has been in office, that has turned on its heels. He has the power. He has rubber stamping puppets.
He has the votes.
He has the
he has the votes.
And when he came back to run, he went to Peabody, and people got on their knees and they kissed his ring like he was the Pope.
Oh my!
And I couldn't stomach that because they never go back and look at his record. You pay us to the people. You get them in your pocket who you think that are leaders in the community. You show up with them on floats at parades, and you take pictures with them, this, that, and the other. But you don't do a damn thing to help the community. And you put these racist city council together, and they look at you and they bow down to you like they worship you.
Well, let me say this. City council led, and the mayor takes instructions from
That hasn't been the case.
From the city council.
Yeah.
And what we need is we need to make sure that we got the right people elected from the bottom up. From the bottom up. And that is, we've got to replace Rubin. And Reddick's Washington needs to be replaced as well.
Absolutely.
We need someone that we can trust. What happened was Alexandria, and not just Alexandria, one of the playbooks that has been used on our people is to get people that look like us, that we feel we can trust because they look like us.
That ain't good enough.
And then they are paid to do what the other person wants them to do, and they overlook what is in the best interest of the community, or they don't have the capacity to see foresight,
The mental capacity,
the
the intellectual
foresight
capacity.
to see where this is going
What
to
they're
cause
gonna
a
lose.
problem. And so then you're hoodwinked into introducing policy changes that causes chaos that has a multi-generational ripple effect into our community, and then you say, oh, I didn't know.
Yeah.
It's your job to have known.
Like with the Restore.
Like,
They all signed off on
Yes,
that. And everyone got
yes,
hurt in the
yes.
community, devastating the community.
Yes.
And then coming back after the fact and saying, I'm sorry, I didn't know, well, you should have known.
Yes, and when you look at Reddick's finance campaign report, and you look at Lee Rubin's finance campaign
They're the
reports,
same.
there are many mergers there. There are
concept,
many similarities there, and people need to know this,
Right.
because if I can get you out of $30,000 child support, and if I can get you out of going to jail, and if I can get you out of all of these things, then when it comes time to vote, you don't have to look at and read the binder with the information. All you got to do is look to your left and right, and however they vote, that's how you vote, and that's what we've seen.
I liken Gerber to somebody who didn't study for the exam, looking on the next guy's test and getting the answers. And I've seen it. I've seen it. This guy's looking, who he's next to, and he's always eyeballing because he's not getting there, not doing his research, he's not reading his material. It's the same problem that Mr. Bella McCall saying that he's having with the school board of having people who look like us that we put in their office to give our voice, who don't know how to use our voice because they don't properly prepare and do their homework before they get into the meeting, making the meetings drag out long, and then you want to stop the meeting and slow down. Like you're somebody in special ed and you just don't get it. Girl, let me ask you this. I'm concerned that, we got advertisements out there, we got people who are being misled, much like the Trump playbook, who are just outright lying about what they've done with their record.
Outright lying.
What can you tell me, as a former city council member, what actually meaningful legislation has Reddick's Washington put into play that is actually helping his constituency?
Nothing that I can remember or recognize that he put into place to help. Now there's some
He has to be told what to do.
Yes. Now there's some he put into place that has hurt us.
Absolutely.
It penalized us. When he changed the ordinance to change the tenure, the terms of the Gator Board members, that hurt us. Because, see, the previous Gator Board was directing funds into the black community for economic development.
Yes.
So when he changed that, instead of them serving out their full 4-year term, now the council members were able to change them out at their will.
At their will. And if they don't like what you said, let me get somebody else.
Well, and they did that right.
That hurts not only the seniority, but it hurts people who actually are who are in the Gator Board that actually know what's going on.
Right, that's right.
And it takes a while to get up to speed.
It does. The learning curve.
Yes.
Now, the other thing, you asked what he put forward to help, nothing.
Yeah.
Now, he's put forward.
Why don't people understand and know that?
Because he's verbalizing misconceptions.
And he's all over social media.
Because if you notice the commercials, if you notice the caliber
He's
of
not
the
giving any
commercial,
specifics.
it's
general.
he's not giving specifics, and you can tell that's paid for.
Yeah.
And see.
And you can tell he didn't write anything. Somebody wrote everything that he's saying. Go ahead, Gerber.
The Restore.
Yeah.
Okay, that was submitted to Jim Villard by Michael Morcott and Jack Roy and Trey Gist.
You did something.
And Jim Villard put it on the agenda, but before it went on the agenda, Reddick Washington went there and signed his name on top of Jim's. To co-sponsor it,
thinking it was going to be a good thing.
Right, and then what was advertised as a grant
turned out to be a loan.
And if you didn't pay that loan back, if you missed 2 payments of that loan, you got disconnected.
You know what I don't understand is, when I went to the bank to purchase my house, or whether it's a car, I had to sign papers. It was a loan. I understood it was a loan. I'm borrowing money. What I don't understand is how you can give people a loan without some of them not even knowing about it until it shows up on their bill that they have to pay back in some sort of installments, and without them even signing anything. You can't go to a bank, get some money, and not sign paperwork, but that seemed to be the case. And why call it a grant when it actually was a loan? Because they wanted to intentionally be misleading on what this thing was about. And unfortunately, the 3 African-American city councilmen who's on the board and leading the charge, Willis Washington, putting his name at the top, didn't understand that this thing was just a boondoggle, and it was going to be detrimental to the community.
Right. Didn't see the consequences.
One of the things
One more
that
thing
I
before I
want
let I want you to say something and then go back before
one
we
of
let
the
you guys
things
go.
that I want to,
But I want to bring that back before the election.
no, not a problem. One of the
Absolutely.
things that I definitely want to make note of, and that is with Reddick's The Lies. We were on another radio station just the other day, and he
Yeah, I had him come in, I heard.
and he said that that this particular person, Nat Turner, that he had a restraining order against him. Well, for me, it alarmed me.
Yeah.
And we fact check.
Yeah.
Like they don't think we're gonna fact check.
Well-
That was a lie. There is no restraining order that and he said that to my face.
And the guy is named Danny Payne. His name is not Nat Turner. That's a moniker. I know Danny, he and I spoke just yesterday. But Danny is a good guy. He's trying to help in the community. And in fact, that he doesn't even live in Alexandria, and he's trying to help. I don't either. We're trying to help. We're trying to help Alexandria residents understand.
My point is
We're being
this:
fooled. He's
you
lied.
lied right there to my face. And if you,
why would he have a restraining order against a man who has never physically threatened him in any way?
I have no idea, but I know that I fact
Girl,
check.
you understand
I know
that?
that I fact
When
check.
they put a restraining order, that means somebody's gotten into your face, they're either attacking you, they're stalking you, something of that nature that you've had some sort of contact where you've had to call the police. That never happened. Danny Payne has never even gotten in this guy's face. He's just on social media speaking the truth.
Well, he told me he had a restraining order on him, which made me go to his page to look to see what all was going on, and then I said, okay, let me go, let's check to see if he has a restraining order on him.
Up now.
People just don't realize that when you say something, it should be true.
The truth don't matter. Candy, Christoph, the truth don't matter in Alexandria.
It don't, and it's really, really obvious for this young man that the truth does not, honesty does not matter. And so therefore, he's unfit to serve Alexandria.
Now, what they say in the Ray Charles movie, Gerber, scratch a lie, find a thief. Gerber, before I let you guys go, anything you want to say, sir?
Yeah, we were talking earlier about people, and one thing my father always told me.
You're doing a wonderful job, by the way. Thank you.
Was that?
Matter of fact, I'm gonna give y'all $20. Go ahead,
one thing my father always told me as I was going out, as a young man, he wanted me to know there are people, some people are of your color, but not of your kind.
Amen.
And there are some people who are not of your color, but they are of your kind.
Come on.
And you need to be able to know the difference.
Yes.
So whenever we get Republicans who buying these
black Democrats,
people of your color,
and to be boastful about it, to put their logos and Randy Wiggins and State Farm, and then to get in front of the banner and take a picture like, look at what I done, y'all. I mean, that's like, to me, like stepping and fetching, scratching your head, Sambo. Like, you don't have a clue as to what the perception and the reality is, that you are boasting about white Republicans financing a black Democrat, and whenever anybody writes you a check, you owe them something, or you are in their pocket.
I want to go here. On Reddick's page, he has on his page that he is endorsed by the Democratic Municipal Association. We looked that up.
What is it?
It's a paid endorsement that's out of Virginia. Because I'm like, I'm a Democrat and I've never heard of these. Let me look this up. They're out of Virginia.
Did they really endorse him?
Yeah, they really endorse him.
Pay for it.
You just sent in some money and they said you're endorsing it. Oh my gosh.
And people, and on his page, people will think that, the Democrats in Louisiana did that. No.
We're being backed by Republicans.
And what's funny, that organization, as long as you pay the fee, they'll endorse two people in the same room.
Isn't that something?
Two people running against each other.
Just like you got to pay to play.
Yeah. But what it is it's playing on the ignorance of other people like they don't know. And that's why Vote Smart is here. So that we can make sure you make a smart vote. And I want to push out early voting. October the 18th starts it. First-time voters and senior votings. We're pushing group voting this year, not just one. Bring groups of people with you to the polls. We want this to be the largest turnout in Alexandria history for this election.
Just like in Georgia.
And I also want to say, ain't no stopping us now.
Come on.
Ain't no stopping us now. We're just getting started.
And I'm going to leave you with this scripture. The scripture says, many are called, few are chosen, but the sad reality is some people choose themselves. Can I get an amen? Amen. Always a pleasure. Candy, Gerb, I love y'all passion. Y'all keep doing what y'all doing. I am now officially a Vote Smart Louisiana member of the pack, and y'all going to be hearing more about them certainly on this product because guess what? Their mission is my mission. I've been blessed to be able to do this show going into our 23rd year, and you guys, what you're trying to do, we've been doing, and let's partnership. Let's get it together. Can we all just come together? Because if we came together, man, we would shake this town up. If people, black folks, just stop beefing and arguing with each other, get rid of the riffraff, get rid of the people who lie, get rid of the people who are being financed by white Republicans, and let's get some true leadership, some people who are going to use your voice, who's not going to just sit up there and be quiet or take the instruction of people who don't live where you live. Right. So thank y'all for all of that, and of course, wonderful. Game over. Game over. Tell you what, folks, again, early voting starts on the 18th and it runs all the way to what, Candy, the 29th?
29th.
October the 29th.
We have 10 days of early voting.
There it is. Candy Christoph going forward with Vote Smart Louisiana. Thank y'all for coming by.
You're welcome.
I enjoyed this. I'm so glad to get some help. Sometimes you're on the island by yourself, but to have some help, thank God bless y'all for doing that. And I want to thank Tiffany Sanders as well. She reached out to me. I know she's with Vote Smart as well.
Yes, Tiffany and Karen Franklin.
Both of them.
Yes, we have 4 founding board members.
There it is. All right, Tiff. Thank you, girl. Thank you for reaching out to me. All right, more eyes open when we come back. Don't go away. Hello, everyone. I'm Tony Brown. This is your statewide news you can use on this Thursday, October the 17th. News today being brought to you by Dr. Ogali Alaye's office with Natchitoches Foot and Ankle Specialist. Want to remind you that Rapides schools are closed for the next 2 days. We're going to start in St. James Parish, where 2 men were shot within minutes of each other on Tuesday night in Lutcher, Louisiana, with 1 man dying of these injuries after being transported to a hospital. According to the DSO, the sheriff's office, the sheriff said they're looking for 4 men believed to be responsible. Deputies responded to the 911 call at approximately 8:40 p.m. Tuesday night about a shooting in the 2100 block of Louisiana 44, found 1 man shot, according to the release. About 10 minutes later, a second caller reported another male shot in the same area. Both victims were transported to area hospital for medical treatment, one by a family member, the other by ambulance. One of the victims later died. The name of that victim has not been identified. A suspect vehicle was located in the eastbound lane on the West Bank side of the Veterans Memorial Bridge with damage from gunfire. The sheriff said they received information that 4 males got out and left on foot. Deputies from the St. James Parish and the St. John Parish Sheriff's Office are currently searching for these men. Anyone with information about this case or these suspects are being asked to contact the St. James Parish Sheriff's Office at 225-562-2200 or just dial 911. 5 men were arrested in Livingston Parish following an investigation into their social media interactions with minors. The arrest stemmed from investigations by the parish's Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force. According to the Livingston Parish Sheriff's Office, they announced this on Wednesday. 4 of the men were booked on account of the indecent behavior with juveniles and computer solicitation of a minor. 26-year-old Emmanuel Rivas of Denham Springs, 31-year-old Lee Lepke of Soldiers Grove, Wisconsin, 41-year-old Jason Shaw of Walker, and 37-year-old Paul Briley Venable of Lafayette. 27-year-old Brandon Bueller of Hammond was also booked on a single count of indecent behavior with a juvenile. The LPSO ICAC task force is constantly utilizing innovative ways to combat the online dangers awaiting the children of the parish and the state of Louisiana. Sheriff Jason Arndt said that detectives are identifying individuals preying on naive and innocent juveniles using social media platforms and gaming servers online. Each arrestee's investigation is ongoing. 3 suspects have been arrested following a narcotics investigation in the Atlantic Parish area. Agents arrived at a residence on West Wilson and Ville Platte back on October the 15th for a search warrant. Several men were found outside and were detained within the home. A promethazine bottle weighing 3.5 fluid ounces was found in the kitchen with an obliterated name for the prescription, as if someone had marked the name out with a permanent marker. A pink firearm was found in a back bedroom, a Cobra F380 caliber. There were also 17 white pills found in a pill bottle with no name on the label. These pills were identified as 10 milligram hydrocodone. Agents also found bags of cocaine and methamphetamine. They don't give us the amount, but it sounds to me like this was a very trivial bust with very little evidence. Talking about a couple of pills in a bottle, 3.5 fluid ounces. Yeah, that's jeez. A maroon truck was parked in the middle of the road, blocking the roadway with a canceled license plate. As a result, 3 suspects were arrested. Man, these black men are getting arrested for absolutely little to nothing. 35-year-old Marcus Garrison of Ville Platte was charged with possession of methamphetamine, possession of intent of cocaine, possession with intent crack. Bond was set at $750,000, almost $500,000. 31-year-old Christopher Washington of New Iberia was charged with possession with intent. Same thing. His bond was also set at $750,000. Narcotics totals, they give it, 23 grams of crack, 3.5 fluid ounces of promethazine, 873 grams of meth, and 922 grams of cocaine. They obviously were dealing, but it's not a big bust or what police officers would call a major collar. Esther Williams hugged her 3 sons, kissed them on the cheek, and told them she was sorry before walking to the front of a Baton Rouge courtroom to stand before a judge Wednesday morning. 3 months ago, the Baton Rouge woman pled guilty to manslaughter for fatally shooting 12-year-old Cedrica Lee during a confrontation with her live-in boyfriend's ex-girlfriend. District Judge Brad Myers sentenced Williams to 20 years in prison in an emotional hearing inside the 19th Judicial District Courthouse. 27-year-old Williams was inconsolable as Myers imposed the sentence. Her children watched as bailiffs escorted their wailing mother out of the courtroom in handcuffs afterwards. The May 13, 2023 shooting happened outside a central apartment in the 14,700 block of Forest Grove Avenue, where Williams lived with 37-year-old Patrick Johnson. She was feuding with Johnson's ex-lover, Gentria Renee Haley. Prosecutors said Haley began harassing Williams when she discovered Johnson was dating her, and Williams told officers the woman banged on their front door and barged into the couple's residence on multiple occasions. The evening of the shooting, Haley found the couple to a local convenience store, followed the couple to a local convenience store, then drove to their apartment with Lee and 2 other girls in her SUV, according to police. She pulled up across the street from the complex and sent Lee and one of the other teenage girls to knock on the front door while she honked her horn. Williams told detectives she was frustrated with Haley's harassment and went outside. When she noticed 2 unknown people approaching the house, she pulled a gun out of her fanny pack and fired a single shot at Haley's SUV. The bullet struck Lee in the head as she retreated down the driveway. Prosecutors agreed Williams had no deliberate intent to kill the child, but Assistant District Attorney Melanie Fields said despite her continued harassment, Haley was sitting inside her vehicle at the time and posed no imminent danger. The judge agreed and said he wasn't buying arguments from Williams' defense attorney Robert Tucker Jr. that the woman was in enough peril to justify shooting at a car full of people. Williams was indicted on a charge of second-degree murder and faced a mandatory life sentence. She pled guilty to the lesser charge of manslaughter on July the 17th. During that same hearing, Myers gave Haley a year of probation after she copped to a charge of stalking and contributing to the delinquency of juveniles as part of the plea deal with state prosecutors. A group of Pineville residents gathered outside the Pineville City Hall on Wednesday morning for a peaceful protest expressing their concern over voter suppression. The demonstration comes after Pineville Mayor Rich Dupree announced he was stepping down on the heels of an extramarital affair with a city employee. Instead of appointing a new mayor, the group feels there should be an election for the citizens of Pineville to elect the leader of their choice. Eddie Lashney said the people have the right to choose their leadership. He says that's simple. All we want is the right to choose. That's it. Samantha Stanley said, we just want our election to be free. We want our voices as Pineville constituents to be heard, and the actions of the mayor have been unethical and deplorable. She went on to say, if it were any other office, this man would have been fired. The Republican Party of Rapides Parish also sent a letter to Mayor Rich Dupree and the Pineville City Council dated October 13th urging Dupree to resign by October the 17th in order for citizens to elect the next mayor for the city in a special election. And, of course, today is October the 17th, and we'll see if anything comes as a result of the protests. When Donaldsonville residents head to the polls beginning next week, they will face a rematch in the mayor's race between a 5-term incumbent and a community advocate recently arrested on a felony count. 68-year-old Glenn Price was arrested last week by the Ascension Parish Sheriff's Office for allegedly purchasing stolen copper wire and selling it for more than $25,000. Police also said he sold the wire without the required license and documentation, according to the SO from the department, and the arrest follows a 2022 no-contest plea by Price to a misdemeanor theft for which he owed more than $53,000 in restitution last month. Price, who was released on a $10,000 bail Tuesday, did not respond to a request for comment via email Wednesday, and his phone was disconnected. But in a conversation before his arrest last week, he portrayed the election as a referendum on Mayor Leroy Sullivan's leadership and pointed to his own involvement in community initiatives. 67-year-old Sullivan stood by his record, highlighting state and federal grants that have flowed into the city and partnerships involving job training and education. In a post on social media, Taboo Harley here in Alexandria announced that it's closing its doors. The dealership was located on North Mall Drive and offered new and pre-owned Harley-Davidson motorcycles as well as parts and vehicle servicing. The store released a statement which said, in part, we're saddened to share the news that Taboo Harley-Davidson has officially closed its doors. We want to thank all of our loyal customers and the incredible community that supported us over the years. Reportedly, they intend to contact customers with motorcycles either currently in service or under a service contract. And finally, this week, Louisiana will witness a bigger and brighter moon. October's full moon, also referred to as the Hunter's Moon, will coincide with the third supermoon of the year. A supermoon occurs only when the moon is closest distance from the Earth. This can make the moon look up to 14% bigger and 30% brighter compared to the supermoon in August. This supermoon is the most rare, but it will be the brightest. I'm Tony Brown. That's your statewide news you can use on this Thursday, October the 17th, Eyes Open Radio and 1110 AM KTTP. Have a safe and a blessed day.
Tired of walking with constant pain because of feet problems? Look no further than my personal podiatrist, Dr. Ogali Leye, with Natchitoches Foot and Ankle Specialists. They're located at 415 Beanville Street, right behind the Natchitoches Hospital. We all know that every step we take depends on the condition of our feet. Dr. Ogali Leye is a former college athlete, also has vast experience in sports medicine. Dr. Leye treats a wide range of foot and ankle problems like diabetic foot care, bunions, chronic sores, problems, infections, ingrown toenails, planters, warts, wound care, and more. Professionals at Foot and Ankle Specialists in Natchitoches can help you get back on the good foot. Call today at 318-357-3668. That's 318-357-3668. So whether you need foot or ankle surgery because of a sports injury, or just need constant foot care because of diabetes, put your best foot forward and call Dr. Ogali Leye with Natchitoches Foot and Ankle Specialist today at 318-357-3668. Dr. Ogali Leye with Foot and Ankle Specialist in Natchitoches, 415 Greenville Street, the only podiatrist in Cenla that is one step ahead of everyone else.
All right, it's time for our Thursday, October 17th weather forecast. This week, Louisiana will witness a bigger and brighter moon. October's full moon, also referred to as the Hunter's Moon, will coincide with the third supermoon of this year. A supermoon occurs only when the moon is closest distance from the Earth. This can make the moon look up to 14% bigger and 30% brighter. When I got into my car this morning driving into a very cool, I would say 42 or 43 degrees, and I looked at the sky, and when I walked out of my home, I said, man, why is it so bright? And I looked up, it was like a big God's flashlight pointing down at me. Let's go to Marty Calhoun. She's a meteorologist with the National Weather Service. Hey, Marty, when I saw that big old supermoon in the sky, and I was like, my God, it's like a spotlight shining down on the earth. It's spectacular, isn't it?
It really is incredibly bright out there.
Yeah, it's beautiful, it's full, and like they say, it's a hunter's moon, right?
Sounds right to me. They all have their names, I guess, depending on the season that they fall in.
Well, because hunting, it says historically the October full moon marked the beginning of the hunting season, hence its name, occurring after the harvest moon, September's full moon. Hunters waited for the hunter's moon to signify when the fields were bare and the animals are well fed. So that's when you go out there. And the term comes from the Algonquin Native American tribe and was used by the Old Farmer's Almanac back in 1930s. You can tell I'm kind of a history buff, too.
Yeah. Oh, yes, it is very chilly out there across central Louisiana. We're seeing temperatures running in the upper 30s or so right now.
Oh, wow. Okay, my goodness, yeah. When I came in, I was like 42. Yesterday, it was like in the 50s. So will it get much colder, or is this just a one-shot thing?
It's just a one-shot deal. This is about as cold as we're expecting it to be through sunrise, because we're starting to see the sun rising now. So it's going to start to warm up probably after 7 o'clock. But, yeah, this is the only morning with these cold temperatures.
Wow. Okay, let's talk about our highs today.
So, yeah, highs in the upper 60s to lower 70s. It's going to feel pretty chilly out there, but it should be nice.
Okay, and as we take a look at the extended forecast.
So we're going to move into that warming trend like we've been talking about for the last couple of days. Highs are going to be a little bit higher each day, mid-70s tomorrow, upper 70s to around 80s through the weekend, low 80s by the start of the next work week. And that's also going to impact our overnight low temperature.